Hey, how's everybody doing? It's good to see more and more people waking to the fact that these weather anomalies are not by nature but in fact are man-made. How do you feel about this Hurricane Melissa? Is it just a coincidence that this major storm came from nowhere and seemed to be directed to an island that is scheduled to be the next smart city by 2030 and is rumored to have oil reserves? What I don't understand that if they are moving the population to electric, why would they still need oil? Anyway, for the people of my generation, 40 and older, remember when the weatherman was always wrong most of the time when it comes to the weather, and then all of a sudden they are 100% accurate and they credit it to new technology? That's not new technology. Well, in a way it is, if you consider HAARP new. The weather is being controlled and the news outlets are given a script to tell us what the weather would be like because they are programming it.
Wouldn't it be crazy if Hurricane Melissa is currently on the shores of Jamaica and it's looking like one of the most powerful storms to hit Jamaica in 100 years? Wouldn't it also be crazy if the trajectory of the hurricane was drastically different last week? It was supposed to be going north, you know, and then all of a sudden it kind of made a sharp turn towards Jamaica. Wouldn't it also be crazy if the severity of the hurricane really exponentially picked up over the last few days as it approached the shores of Jamaica? Rapid acceleration. And I mean, I could throw up a number of patents right now showing that government has these technologies. But wouldn't it also be crazy if Jamaica, Kingston has been named to be a smart city 2030, completely digital ID, digital everything, Big Brother, all that, Peter Thiel, Palantir, coming to a city near you. That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. Wouldn't it also be crazy if, I mean, you know, there's debate about whether these reserves are real, but I guess it'd be kind of crazy if Jamaica may have just discovered like $400 billion in natural resources. I mean, it'd be easy to mine if everything was just fucking gone. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, that would all be so crazy. But I mean, who would do that to Jamaica? It's not like the American government was funding rival factions of their governments. Now that's crazy, dog.
Now with programming being said, how do we know that we are not part of an AI system becoming sentient and creating reality without input from the entity that created us in the first place? You ever notice that a lot of the layout of the land is built like a circuit board? Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. That's for another video. Let's go back to Melissa. Have you noticed that since the government shut down, the sky has been free of chemtrails? For days. There are plenty of videos talking about it. That tells you right there that they can turn it on and off when they want to.
Hey, Florida, what happened to hurricane season? Didn't happen, huh? Day 12 of the government shutdown. Not a chemtrail in sight. Sky is so clear and bright. At this point, I'm tired of being right. Day 12 of the government shutdown. Skies are still clear, but I'm lying. Plot twist. Still no chemtrails. Day 12 of the government shutdown. Am I right or am I right? To the government bots in the comments, we know the difference between contrails and chemtrails. Contrails last about 2 to 3 minutes. Chemtrails, hours on end. We're not done. Ooh, shocker. Plot twist. Still no chemtrails. Hundreds and hundreds of people have hit me up since I posted that video and have said, hey, look, since the government's been shut down, our skies are clear too. Send me before and after videos because we're not going to let them gaslight us into believing there's no weather modification, there's no chemtrails. That's bullshit.
But if you was really paying attention, just a few days ago, they started spraying again. And when they start spraying, something is about to change, which is why I always emphasize, look at the sky. They started spraying again, and then all of a sudden, at the same time, this abnormal mystery hurricane comes out of nowhere.
Getting back to converting things to digital, I believe these antennas are affecting the analog signal, which is why we had to be switched to digital. Reports say when they use these antennas, the particles they use from the radiation belt is being replaced with radiation from the sun and the earth. They charge up the particles and make this plasma and use it for whatever. But to get maximum effect, the plasma needs to be dense. One way of doing this is by spraying particles in the air, specifically barium. The other way is to use satellites to drop things like depleted uranium in the belts to create more charged particles. They put a lot of satellites out there recently. A lot of people concerned that it may be punching holes in the ozone layer and causing more radiation exposure, which could possibly be the reason that it's getting hotter. I don't know. But this thing does have the power to disrupt this simulation we're in. I'm just saying. They use HAARP to find mineral-rich locations like oil. Going back to mineral-rich, have you ever wondered why that location in Alaska was chosen? And why all HAARP facilities are in mineral-rich locations? Let's take Alaska for example. I just found this out myself. The facility is right on top of an oil deposit. To power this device requires lots of power. Instead of having fuel trucked in, they tap the deposit, have an on-site refinery, an on-site generator for constant power. It's always ready. That's genius! I gotta give it to those evil bastards. That's pretty smart. A weapon that's feeding right off the tap. Unlimited energy source. This weapon can make radiation belts and take them away. They can even expand the ionosphere.
I chose what's called a phased array antenna for the patents because it can be aimed. Picture holding your microwave oven in your hands with the door open. Then you can move it around and send those microwaves different directions. And for these applications where I wanted precise control of where the power was, I felt that was the best type of antenna to use. And that is the kind that HAARP has built. There were some other ideas, both to possibly modify weather and finally to lift a portion of the upper atmosphere further out into space. It is possible with a big beam to take a part of that upper atmosphere and push it out further.
What they're not paying any attention to is what's happening to the ionosphere while it's being held 80 miles out into space by this high energy beam.
In certain applications, the military acknowledges that it can literally lift the ionosphere. And what they say is, it's not a problem, it's a short period of time, yet when you lift the ionosphere up, the lower atmosphere rushes in and fills that void, which changes localized weather patterns.
And you wonder why you hearing the moon is in our atmosphere.
How long are we going to allow this? It's going to come to a point where we either fight back or be cowards and allow this to happen and accept whatever they give us. Why do you think we wear helmets while riding bikes now? Playgrounds have padding on the ground. We're not allowed to ride in the back of pickup trucks anymore. Transformers in the military. We are becoming pussified and weak. And on top of that, they're keeping us sick. You know how when bullies have a person where they want them, they will continue to push the limits until their victim decides to finally fight back. It's because bullies are the biggest cowards and they have to make an example of someone to keep the rest afraid to avoid being exposed. We as a society put ourselves in a very tough situation. We all know that this predator class wants civil war to bring the UN troops and implement martial law. We as humans want peace so much that we know the outcome of civil war that we want to avoid it as much as possible. The problem with that is that these monsters, just like bullies, realize they have the upper hand and will push the limits to how much they can get away with before we finally stand up. They will become more and more brazen and take and take and take. And by the time we finally decide to fight back, they will become too powerful because we allowed them to take so much of our freedom and resources that we will have nothing to fight back with. The way I see it, we have less than 5 years to change the trajectory of this reality, or the rest of our generation will be born into slavery because society was too cowardly to stop it. And remember, for those that have not learned in this lifetime are carnated back into this reality when they die. If we are born into a life of slavery that only serves the rich, not only do we blame our parents, we have ourselves to blame because we are our parents. So my question to you is, what are you going to do about it? We have less than 5 years. Do something.